Hey everybody, Bedrock Builder here again. I wanted to put together a video to show you how to build the witch farm I came up with. Uh, this is my latest version, built in a creative world. I wanted to test a few other things out. The old version, I ran into a couple of kinks after running it for quite a long time. Not too many problems, but two of them that came up were spiders and slimes. They got caught up in the spawn room and just kind of gunked everything up and made it so it didn't work anymore. So I came up with something. I think it works. The other thing you might notice is the switch up here. That is to turn off the Trident Killer, so I don't want to have to go up and down and have to reset from peaceful to hard every time I go down there. So, because that was the other problem I ran into, was that the Trident Killer itself, when I load and unload the area, sometimes would turn itself off, or the tridents themselves would get stuck in the glass pane. So I came up with a couple of ways. One way. Came up with a way to deal with that by putting a switch up here to turn it on and off. So I make sure it's off before I leave the area. That's the big thing. Because once you're up here, you don't want to have to, keep, going from peaceful to hard to reset the spawns. Because Bedrock kind of stinks like that with their despawn algorithm. I think they're changing that soon, so let's look forward to that. Okay. Didn't mean to throw my sword. So up here we have the collection system. Everything comes up collected by water underneath the Trident Killer. You also get experience if you stand close to the elevator itself, which is nice. You still get the experience. Not a whole lot. Loot gets collected up top. Just have a simple, chest storage system right now. You can set up an item filter or whatever you like, however you like to do with your loot, so to speak. Down below, this is what's left of the witch's hut. I just kind of trimmed it down to its bare essentials just to see what actually needed to stay. Let's turn that off because it's loud. Take a peek inside. Open up the top. So this is what's left of the witch's hut itself. This is the spawning block, the one that the witches actually spawn on. So when they spawn in, they immediately trigger this piston, pushes them into the Trident Killer down below. Real simple. And then a water stream below the Trident Killer itself carries everything out into this water elevator, which is powered by Soulsand. Get everything nice and fast. So it's pretty simple. So far, I haven't had any issues with slime or spiders. Because spiders would still be a problem because this Trident Killer cannot deal with spiders. They just don't fall through to get hit by the tridents. So what I did in my survival world to deal with the spiders was actually throw in a magma block right up here to keep them from falling down and also to kill them when they spawn in. At least they'll die on the magma block. Although, like I said, I haven't had any issues with the slimes or spiders spawning on this block. I just wasn't sure if in my other farm if they were spawning on this block or someplace else. Because I think I also had a block here with some glass on top of it. So not really sure what the cause was. Hopefully, by trimming it down to just one spawning block, which is I'm hoping is exclusively reserved for the witches in the witch hut, shouldn't have that problem again. Otherwise, I'll have to modify it again and use magma. That's what I like to use to deal with spiders in these kind of situations. Because, man, I hate spiders. They just mess everything up. So I'm going to show you how to build this in your survival world. I'm going to do it in creative because it's just a lot easier. If you're going to do this, just bring some scaffolding. Pretty much. That'll get you where you need to go. First step always, though, is you have to find a witch hut. And for that, I like to use what's called Chunk Base. They have a witch hut finder. Post a couple of screenshots showing kind of how it works. Works great for Bedrock. So far, it's been 100%. Every time it shows a witch hut, there's a witch hut there. I know some of the other apps, some of the other finders don't work as reliably. particularly in my survival world, because that was actually generated on the PlayStation Console Edition. So that has its own issues because that world was imported and updated to, well, Bedrock, and it's wonderful, but it certainly had its issues. Okay, so let's go ahead and find ourselves that witch hut. All right, so Chunk Base has the witch hut being at about minus 9100, 1600. That's right up over here. Looks like we have some swampy stuff. Oh, there's the hut right there. Perfect. All right, you know what? Let's clear things up a little bit. Get rid of the mobs. Get rid of the rain. Make things all nice and sunny. It's always nice. Make things a lot easier to see. All right, let's go. All right, so we got the witch's hut. Where's that clear weather? Huh. Clear weather. Here we go. All right, so the witch's hut. Okay. Now these things I found are pretty much always so far, facing north. So that way is north. You can tell if you look at that, what is that, your Z coordinate, that's your north-south. If the number is decreasing, you are going north. And the spawn location I found so far is always this block. But if you want to double check, you can always do the glass pane method. Make things nice and dark. Throw up some glass panes. And what we're going to do is you have to move at least, I think it's 25 blocks away for mobs to spawn. Because the spawn radius, I believe, is from 24 to 54 blocks. So for 24 blocks all around you, nothing will spawn. In the sky, below you, all around. But from 25 to 54 blocks, monsters will spawn under the right conditions. That applies for the surface. You get 8 mobs maximum in total, and anything that's below a solid block is considered a cave. And you get 8 cave spawns. The witches here are always considered cave spawns. So what we're concerned about is making sure that the witches essentially are the only cave within our spawning range. And then we're going to do that by putting our platform 50 blocks above where the witches spawn in. So this is, let's see, 66, so we'd have to go up to 116. All right, so first we'll go ahead up to 116 then, and then switch it back to hard and see where our witches show up. Pretty sure it's going to be on that block I placed. Actually, come on, 116. Here we go. All right, so we'll toggle it back to hard, and then give it a couple of seconds. Wait for the game to be like, oh, he wants monsters again, so let's give him monsters. Yay. I think that should do it. That doesn't take too long for the witches to show up. They like to party. Let's see, do we have anybody in here? Yeah, there they are. Okay, there's our witches, and they are on that block. Because when mobs spawn in, they always spawn in on the northwestmost corner of the block that they spawn in on. So that's north, that's west, that's the most northwest corner. So this is their spawn block. All right, so let's get rid of these lovely ladies and start building the actual farm. All right, so now that we know that, or we've confirmed that that is indeed the block, let's go ahead and remove these 3. Then we can just go ahead and fill in the rest of the witch hut because we don't want to leave any other spawnable spaces inside the hut other than the one that the witches actually show up on. And then we're going to need to put in our piston. It's going to knock those lovely witches into the Trident Killer. We're going to install right below. All right, so that's our little tripwire hook trap. So they spawn in, activate the trap, boom, they get pushed into the Trident Killer. All right, that's pretty much it for that room. Go ahead and put a couple of blocks here to make sure the room stays dark. I like to throw on the indicator light just off the back here. Make a little spot so you can see it from above, and that will flash every time a witch goes through the trap. So, well, you can't really... Oh, it actually lit up the room a little bit. So yeah, that'll activate every time a witch goes through, just to give you a little, reassurance that everything's working well. If that thing's blinking kind of regularly, that's a good sign. If it's flashing on and off, you probably got a spider in there. If it's stuck on, you probably have a slime block in there. But I told you, you can just modify the room a little bit with the magma block and you'll be all right. All right, so the next step is we want to install the Trident Killer. Let's go ahead and clean up some space underneath the hut here. We're going to need a little room to do a little work, and I'll get right back to you. All right, now that we've cleared out a little space underneath the witch hut to do our work, we're going to install the Trident Killer. And we're just going to go up right underneath where we cut the hole in the floor so the witches drop through and get killed by the tridents. Now, what's nice about this is we're going to install glass panes, make sure that we get the experience as well, not just the loot. So throw down a ring of blocks, grab your regular pistons, have them facing in like this. And then we're going to want to throw a block underneath each piston here. And then, let's see, we want, well, let's go ahead and throw a ring down around the bottom here just to make things easier. Maybe get ourselves out of there. All right, so now we need observers facing this way into each block so that the redstone fart that comes out the back goes into the block that's underneath each piston, and that'll fire them all. So you want the observers looking away from the block. Get all those put in. And this is a Trident Killer I got from Navy Nexus. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his channel. If you're not, you should definitely watch his stuff. If you build in Bedrock, he has the most amazing farms, and gives you a lot of the mechanics behind it, which is great. So when you have to do troubleshooting or debugging, you kind of know what's going on. All right, so this one, we just go ahead and throw in our powered rails, and that's going to complete our circuit. And all these guys should start firing. All right, so we want to turn that off because it's kind of loud. To do that, you just add power to any of the rails from any of the blocks next to it, really. And any one will do. Let's go ahead and throw in our glass pane floor. And then we're going to go ahead and add the tridents while we're here as well, before we forget that. Throw a couple of them in there. Close it back up. Now we want to make sure this stays dark as well. Because we want to make sure that room above stays dark. So I found that the pistons are actually transparent blocks, so they will let light through. So we got to get blocks on all sides of these pistons to make sure everything stays good and dark. And once we got that, our Trident Killer is done. So now we want to add the water stream to feed the experience and the loot into our water elevator. So let's come around back to the south side here, make our way underneath. Let's see, that's the room, right? All right, so now we want, let's see, I want the water stream, I think, coming out this way, if I'm correct, and we'll put our water source in that corner there. So it comes out across and pushes everything out this little opening we have here. And we'll go ahead and grab some ice. I think we're done with those. Ice helps accelerate the items out. I think without the block of ice, you would have the items get stuck in the stream because the water stream isn't long enough to really gain momentum, I believe. So we got a piece of ice there. Then we want another piece of ice here. And we're going to throw a button on this piece of ice. So you got one piece of ice. I'm not sure you can see it. One piece of ice there, one piece of ice here. And then we're going to put in our Soulsand for our actual elevator, item elevator. And I love using Soulsand and water because it's so cheap compared to using droppers or item elevators. It's just, I don't know. It's fast, it's efficient, and it's cheap. So let's go ahead and knock out these wall blocks here so we can put in our item elevator. Let's see, where are we at? Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and put this in, and I'll meet you at the top. All right, so we got all the way up to our spawn level, or our AFK level. Let's go ahead and put in an actual platform. I like using glass because it lets me see what's going on down below. Like seeing that blinking light confirms things are working, or if it's blinking fast, or if it's steady on, then I know something's wrong. So either way, it confirms what's going on down there. It kind of gives you a little indication of what's happening. So as long as that's blinking kind of steadily, we know things are good. All right, so now we have our column all the way up. We're going to put in a couple of chests and hoppers to collect our goods. All those pretty witches loot. So we got a chest here, and you can do your own collection system. I'm just making it simple for the sake of this video. I think in my survival world, you can see the video. I have an item filter for the stuff I want to collect, and kind of a garbage chute for the stuff I don't, because you're going to get a lot of sticks. You're going to get a lot of sticks out of this farm. Spider eye and sugar I don't really have much use for on glass bottles. Quite a bit of garbage, but you know the redstone, the glowstone. Oh, closing this off before I even put the water in. All right, so at the top, we're going to want to put a button, drop in a water bucket. This block here, let that get to the bottom. Hits the bottom, we should get our bubble stream. I like to see the bubbles. They get a little visual confirmation that everything's working. Let's see, where's my bubbles? Here come the bubbles. All right, so now we can add another bucket here. Make sure everything flows towards our hopper. Close it off so nothing bounces out or flies away. And that is our collection system. Now all we have to do is install the button or the lever, the on-off switch for the Trident Killer here. So we're going to need to power this lever. Power that powered rail. And I do that with a series of redstone blocks and sticky pistons. So we want the block to end up here to power the rail. So I'll go one up with the pistons. When the piston pushes it down, it powers that rail and turns everything off. Now we're going to follow this pattern all the way up top the tower here until we get to our AFK platform. And here we go. All right, looks like we're almost at the top. This one should line up perfectly with the floor, and it does. We just need to throw a lever on there to power it on and off. So when the the pistons are retracted like this, that means the Trident Killer is on, so I like to throw a little indicator light to let me know that the Trident Killer is in fact on. And then because we have so much glowstone and redstone out of this farm, I like to show off the bling with the redstone lamps. So you can throw those in along the oopsie, what did I do there? Oh no, throw them in along the water column. Kind of illuminates it so you can see what kind of loot is coming your way at night. And I don't know, it looks cool. I like the way redstone lamps look and the way glowstone looks. Although I do wish we had more light options in Minecraft. A few more options in general. Anyway, let's get all this down. Throw in those lamps. Everything's nice and lit. I think that should be it for the farm. Okay, we go. Remove that lever before we move on. All right. Trident Killer is now activated. When we go up top, we flip that lever. It will extend the blocks, power that rail, and turn everything off. Like so. I like that chain reaction. And now our Trident Killer is off. So let's go ahead and toggle back and forth between peaceful and hard to kind of reset our mobs. And now, if we never go back down there, we should be fine. That is the only cave within spawnable range for us. If you do have a witch hut that has high hills or mountains around it nearby, you will need to spawn-proof those areas as well. Only caves. You don't have to worry about surface spawns. One easy way of doing that is just throwing a bucket of lava onto the floor of the cave, just in case you have slimes in the area. They don't care about light levels, so throwing in torches won't deal with slimes. So I like to deal with caves if I have to with lava buckets. All right, look at all those blinking. So we should see our loot coming up. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy, bunch of stuff already. Now, if you want to collect the experience, all you got to do is stand close to this water column, and the experience will come through there. So that's that. That's the witch farm. Like I said, this is dependent upon the spawn mechanics of the witches being a cave spawn within inside the hut. Making sure that that's the only cave within spawnable range, that 24 to 54 block range. That you just don't load any of the other caves in the area with mobs. As long as that happens, this thing just keeps cranking out witches, at bedrock rates. But, it's not bad. I'll take it. Use all that glowstone and redstone. Gunpowder, it's nice, but I got plenty of that already, and it's really just the redstone and glowstone. Well, anyway, I hope this was all good for you guys. I hope you enjoy building this, and I hope you have a great time in Bedrock. Have fun out there. I'm out.